3, 4 years completed, but time just will not stop. In terms of quests released per year, this one sits at the top. 22 full years of questing, can't use a bank, must stay alive. RuneScape 3 Hardcore Ultimate Ironman, questing through 2005. Welcome back to January 31st, 2005. This agility course is definitely something. We don't lose a bunch of experience when we fall, but it does take more time. And it's a lot more work, this agility course. So, I think I'm just going to go back to the wilderness. Just makes things easier. I have to click on each individual stepping stone and then cross the barriers there, then through the pipe, pick up the stick, climb up there, click on that, fall off most of the time, run back down, give the stick. Just a lot more effort. So I think, nah. Back to the wilderness. 67 agility. That is the Yano Dungeon Rubble Climb shortcut. That one might actually exist. The Yanil Agility Dungeon. Head over to the mini boss guy, Salarin the Twisted. Don't have any reason to really go do that, but I guess we could now. So that's neat. 68 agility. Elven Overpass Medium Cliffside shortcut. That one does not exist yet. 69 agility. Pretty good. That's a quest requirement. And there is 70 agility. Milestone achievement. And I think where we're going to be stopping the agility training for now. It's a good level. Workable for the future. And plenty of unlocks. It is the God Wars Saradomin Encampment Wall Climb, the Terrorly Dungeon Pipe Squeeze shortcut, possible double loot from Paladins with 80 thieving, Monastery of Ascension Chasm Jump, Base Camp Spa Tier 2, and Anachronia Advanced Island Travel. I think we're probably going to need to train more agility before Anachronia exists. But for right now, 70 is more than enough. So let's get out of here and get to stuff. Sharks restocked. Always a good plan before you head out on an adventure. And we've got quite the adventure for today. On February 7th, 2005, the next quest. And that is Roving Elves. Requires Regicide and Waterfall quest. So, very elven, for sure. Required items: a rope, the key to the Waterfall dungeon, Galariel's Pebble, and also we were going to need Galariel's Amulet to actually get in the waterfall. So, that'll be fine. Basically, we need to do the waterfall quest all over again. Plus, some other things. Like the combat here, where we need to defeat a level 61 Moss Giant with no weapons, runes, summoning, armor, or prayer. So, that'll be something. I've got some plans of how I'm going to deal with that. But before we worry about that, we need to go start the quest. And it starts way over in the Elven lands. We need to talk to some elves. So let's get over there. Running all the way. It really is just still quite the trek over here. Even if we did have some of the later transportation methods to get over to the Elven lands, it's still a bit of work getting through there. All the traps and stuff. And that is what the anti-poison is for. Don't want to get poisoned on our adventures here. Would not be ideal. We got plenty of food and the ability to teleport away and get more food easily enough. So it's not like it would be like a death sentence or anything. But better to be prepared, of course. First step of getting the Elven Lands, we need to get to the pass here. Right over here. A lot of stuff on the way here that doesn't exist yet. Like that building that we passed and that altar kind of place there. But we'll just head through the huge gate. Magically get our run energy restored here. And head through Arendar. We've been training our agility, so once the shortcuts exist, we could take some of them here. But not yet. Also, the shortcuts in Arendar are just terrible. The amount of time it takes to traverse them, some of them aren't even good, despite very, very high agility requirements. Another fun thing to note, the direwolves have been fixed. They were level 1 last time we were here. The combat nerf and monster rebalancing update. A work in progress, for sure. Running back through here. We got the limestone mine, always a good time. Different way we get here compared to what it originally would have been. More of a path up there, but that's okay. We're not worried about that. What we're worried about is continuing into the forest. Step 1, this tripwire. A failure. And that's what the anti-poison's for. You would think with 70 agility, we might be, I don't know, doing slightly better. You'd be wrong. You'd be wrong. You would think that. You'd be wrong. Going through the dense forest. Here's the entrance to the underground pass. At least we don't need to go through there anymore. So that's good. Still need to be careful for one situation with the underground pass, but for now, everything's fine. There is Ilfine. They are important to what we're going to be doing today, but don't exist yet. So instead, we need to find some other elves. And not this elf musician, they also don't exist. And not the elf tracker down in the other area. Very, very specific quest start locations we're going for here. And another tripwire. See if we can succeed at this one. Answer is no. We keep getting shot. Good times. Good times. More direwolves over here. And that brings us down to this location. With some magic trees. And no elves. The quest actually starts in 2 locations. And the elves we're looking for are only in 1 at any given time. So one thing you can do is hop worlds and hope that they are actually in the location. An interesting method, but it does make sense once we learn about what they're up to here. World select, choose another one. It varies. It varies. The fires here, they are not mystical. Located in the Elven Forests. there they are. Took a little bit for them to show up. Many world hoppings. But here is Isloin and Eluned. Hey there. Hello there. Leave me be. I have no time for Easterners. Between your lot and them gnomes, all you do is take and destroy. No thought for others. But save your excuses, young one. It was one of your species that disturbed my grandmother's remains. Will she never get the peace she deserves? Grandmother? Yes. Someone took her ashes from her tomb. If it wasn't for them gnomes, she'd have been left in peace. But now I can sense her restlessness. Gnomes. Yes, gnomes. One of those little pests took the key to my grandmother's tomb. He must have given it to the human that desecrated the tomb. Roving elves. Accept. Was your grandmother's name Galariel? Yes. How did you know that? We're gonna tell the truth. It's a bit of a long tale, but to cut the story short, her remains reside in Baxtorian's home. I thought it's where she'd want to be. It was I that removed your grandmother's ashes. You've been in grandfather's home? That's where we originally wanted to leave Galariel's ashes to rest, but we could not understand how to enter. This is gravely concerning. Her resting place must be consecrated. Maybe I could help. What needs doing to consecrate her new tomb? You're offering to help? Maybe not all humans are as bad as I thought. I don't know the consecration process. You should speak with Eluned. She is wise in the ways of the ritual. I'll see what I can do. So here is Eluned. Hey there. Hey there. Islin said you may be able to help me. He told me you know how to consecrate ground for an elven burial. I needed to reconsecrate Galariel's resting place. That I do. It is elven tradition to plant a specially enchanted crystal seed at the graves of our ancestors. The seed will create guardians to protect the area. Unfortunately, the crystal seed must be attuned to the person it's protecting. A new seed won't do. We should be able to recover the seed from her old tomb. The tomb's guardian will be protecting the seed. You'll need to defeat him to get it. Once you have it, return here and I will re-enchant it. Okay, I'll be back as soon as I have it. So we need to get a crystal seed from the guardian of Galariel's tomb. Sounds mostly doable here. Get back to Ardoin. So much easier to get out of the Elven lands than it is to get into it. My goodness. Well, there is a few things we obviously need here. If we want to get into Galariel's tomb, we need Galariel's Pebble. Obviously. So let's just pop over into the gnome maze with use of the spirit trees, of course. Don't need to go through the maze anymore. Transportation options. We definitely have some. So let's just get to the tree here. Near the Khazar battlefield. That'll be okay. Probably still the shortest way to get to a spirit tree, since the one by Varrock doesn't have good access yet. But that gets us here. So we need to go talk to Golary down here in the dungeon. Basically, we are doing Waterfall Quest again. Essentially, yes. So, come down here. And Golary is now outside. So that's nice. Have a chat with him. Get our seed back. Yeah. Hey, Golary, how did you get out? Oh, a small amount of misdirection. These hobgobbos aren't very smart, are they? I hope that pebble helped you out. Why is that? Well, you know that pebble I gave to you? Well, it turned up on the floor in here. Would you like it back? Yes, please. Golary hands you a pebble. Oh, that reminds me. Seeing as you like elven things, I found this. Go ahead to an old book. Goodbye, Golary. See you later. Kadarn Lineage. Book on the Kadarn clan history. Don't think that exists yet. That seems like a lore book that's gonna be added later. Kadarn Lineage. Yeah, maybe. Received during the Roving Elves quest. Yeah, I suppose so. Wild stuff. So I guess we can read this book. Get some elven information. How fun. The Kadarn family is one of the oldest elf clans, able to trace its bloodline back to one of the 8 families brought here by Saren in the First Age. The First Age. Mysterious. It was the Kadarn clan's responsibility to protect the other 7 clans from any hostility encountered while colonizing this new world. Not much is known about the first generation of elves to walk this land. The only remaining documentation are the ancestry records. It's not until the start of the Third Age that we find surviving transcripts, and these are few and far between. In the Third Age, there was constant battling between the different gods and their followers. The need for protection in these troubled times made the Kadarn clan one of the most powerful in the Elven domain. After centuries of fighting, the war finally ended when the gods realized they would destroy the very thing they were fighting over. The gods agreed on a pact of non-influence. With no great threat left, the Kadarn clan found their skills were of little use in Tyrannwyn. At the start of the Fourth Age, the Kadarn family spearheaded an expansion into the lands east of Arandar. The occupation lasted for several centuries, for its final collapse near the end of the Fourth Age. With the death of Baxtorian Kadarn and his sons not yet of age to rule, the Elven clan returned to Tyrannwyn leaderless. The Kadarn clan lost much standing within the Elven Council in this time. This led to the cessation of all exploits within the lands to the east, and the eventual closure of all routes through Arandar. Wild stuff. Potentially changed slightly. Going to the wiki here. The old school version of this book had the text slightly modified to be more consistent with the later lore in 2019. But possibly it's still original here in RuneScape 3. So that was a bit of information. Don't know if we've heard about the God Wars before. We got some interesting stuff in here. I think this is probably a book that most people would miss because you only get it by talking to Golary after starting this quest. And most people have banks where they would have the pebble and not need to worry about that. But we are not most people here. So a little bit more world and elven lore there. Very cool. So go back to Ardoin here. So now, we've got the pebble. We've got access to Galariel's tomb. Of course, there's more problems, though. To get into Galariel's tomb, we can't have any combat stuff. And once we get down in there, we need to face off against the Guardian. So we will need to drop a bunch of stuff on the ground outside and then run on in. Should be good. And while we're in there, we should probably also grab the amulet. Let's just get to the tomb here and consider what we're going to be doing here. I want to make this as quick as possible. That's definitely a beneficial plan here. We're going to need to take off a bunch of things. I feel like we probably keep the boots, the ring, and the amulet is actually allowed, so 3 more spaces here. Let us drop some sharks. Make some space. Yeah, arrows aren't going to be allowed. Okay. So, we need to drop a bunch of things, quickly get in there, and quickly get out. That is very important. Let's drop the runes, and these, this, and 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 this. Take the sharks. Enter the tomb. In theory. Place it. Nothing happens. Okay. Drop the boots. Boots of lightness. No? Well, now we need to pick everything up now. Ring of life, maybe not. Wild. This is definitely something. Let's see if we can get in here. Real life? I guess we can just try dropping the amulet too. We only other things we have is coins, the pebble, potion, and sharks. So those are definitely just fine. Just drop stuff. What I wouldn't do for some shift dropping. Old school's kind of easy. Drop, 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 pebble. Nope, wielding body. Drop that. Pebble. Place it in. Here, allow creek. And we can go inside. But we need to fight the moss giant. Originally, was level 84 with strong melee and magic attacks. Now, it's level 24. Even though I think a lot of the quest information was saying it was level 61 or something. Anyways, just kind of punch it and win. So I'll go grab the amulet while we're down here. Grab that. Grab the seed. Grab the seed. Head back upstairs, and pick all our stuff back up. Wild stuff. No, yeah, definitely did not need quite that many sharks. Put some stuff on, pick up more things, put stuff on, pick up things. It looks like we're good. So, all the items have been flung around the inventory. Put all that stuff back. So now we got the pebble, we got the amulet, we got the seed. All good. All good. So yeah, that was not much of a fight. Definitely did not need to go and prepare super attack potion or prayer potions or anything. Not a big deal. So let us get back over to Elenid, because she needs to consecrate the seed here. And that means running all the way back to Arndar, through the forest, and then hoping they actually are just standing around down by the magic trees again. It'll work. It'll work. Actually managed to successfully walk over one of the tripwires on the way this time. Only one of them, though. There's still 2. Elenid, I'm back. Hello. Hello. Any luck finding the consecration seed? Yes, I have it here. You hand the crystal seed to Elenid. And she does some non-hearable chanting. How odd. I can see her lips moving, but there's no sound. Elenid hands you an enchanted crystal seed. Plant this seed in Glariel's new tomb, close to her remains, and she will rest in peace. Okay. And then we leave again. Kind of out of water runes. Should probably go grab some more of those. Unfortunately, there's no rune shop in Ardoin here. Let's pop over to Varrock after we need to teleport again, I guess. Nice supply of runes here overall, though. But we need to get up to the waterfall. And we're also going to need a rope once we get up there, so let's go buy a rope. Not having the rope earlier helped slightly with the inventory mess of trying to drop everything, so a reasonable plan. Let me just grab another rope here. Eventually there's going to be a rope rack where you can store your ropes. Infinite number of ropes up by the waterfall. But not yet. Just get a rope here. And we could also get over there. No, not yet. I don't think, yeah, that doesn't exist. Eventually we'll be able to get up towards the waterfall more quickly. With another teleport. Except probably not us, because that would require having the thing that has the teleport. And that's inventory space and etc, etc. We work with what we got. There are a few things in the distant future that would be helpful for combining a bunch of stuff together. But we also need to be aware of situations where we need to drop everything again. So it's a little bit all over the place, honestly. It's going to rest here by the tomb again. And magically get full run energy again. And when I say rest, I do not mean clicking here and resting. I'm literally just standing there, waiting for the run energy to recharge. But at least it is still a lot quicker than it was before. Lots of the time, run energy is not a huge deal because you aren't running around that much. But for questing and stuff here, we got distances to go. There's a rope rack, which we can't build yet. Anyways, down the river, down the rocks, wield the amulet before we forget to do that. May or may not be required to actually get inside here. That's okay. Glariel's amulet. Yep. I think it's like not required in old school or something. Anyways, we need to go to where it was anyway, so not a big loss either way. Back into the waterfall dungeon. Been a little bit since we've been in here. Like that time we killed 5,400 fire giants to get this rune axe. It's pretty great. Nothing in that crate. Grab a key. Open stuff up. Very good. A key. Brilliant stuff. Unlocks something. Waterfall quest. Very helpful little information there. Added to the keys later. Anyways, we're in here now. We're actually over in here now. There are 3 different versions of this room. The before the quest, if you fail, and after the quest. This is a situation where they could put up some big walls between the places, so we can't see all the different versions of this. Anyways, plant the seed. Dig a small hole, drop the seed in the hole, and it grows a little magical crystal tree, which then disappears. It's supposed to make a guardian, so I don't know if that actually worked. We did the thing, though, and that's about as much as we can do here. So let us return all the way back to the Elves again. And we teleport over here. Wild stuff. Got 1 more dose of super anti-poison, so that is perfectly fine. Probably going to trigger the tripwires again. Well, let's just be honest with ourselves. Back we go. Again. Starting to think that these guys are on the same place on every world. Anyways, we're back again. Hello. Hey, how's it going? Have you managed to reconsecrate Glariel's resting place? Yes, it's done. Well done. You should go see Islwin, but I'd guess he already knows. Islwin. Hey there. Hello, Islwin. You have returned. Thank you for all you have done. Now both me and my grandmother can rest in peace. How did you know that I had consecrated the tomb? Her restlessness has finally left me. Here, I should give you something for your effort. This one shows you a crystal bow and a crystal ward. Originally the crystal shield. Crystal equipment is at its best when it is new and fully charged. These I'm offering you only have a little charge left before they'll revert to seed. Revert to seed? What do you mean? Aha, young one. It was thousands of years before we fully understood that ourselves. All will be explained if we feel you are ready. Now, which one of these crystal creations would you like? Shields are for wimps. Give me the bow. We have very, very little use for a shield, even if it is quite nice. Give me the bow. Alright. If you ever need a replacement, I can sell you another. That is quest complete. 1 quest point, 10,000 strength XP, and a partially used crystal bow. Very good. And the partially used crystal bow is, well, he's also wielding one. There we go. Crystal bow. Lots of interesting things have happened with the crystal bow. Starting with the quest here. You got the partially charged crystal bow. And like he said, if you use it all up, it reverts into a seed. Using it all up means charges. There was a update in a few more weeks here, which made a few changes to how this works. But essentially, 2,500 shots can be fired by the bow. Or at least that would have been the case until it changed significantly in 2014 to 50,000 charges. But you also use 2 charges if you don't use it in specific locations. So essentially it has 25,000, which is still 10 times more shots than it had before. So that's good for us, at least. But as we see here, we only have 20% of a bow left here. So basically, we had 25,000 shots. So realistically, we have 5,000 shots before it reverts. We will see if that gets us to where I want to get to. Because crystal bow is definitely the best weapon for the job for range training. Or literally anything else currently. Crystal bow, literally the strongest weapon in the game, if you account for the changes with evolution of combat. It is level 70, which is the same level as the Abyssal Whip, but that is only one-handed. This is full-on two-handed, no shield, no nonsense, just amazingly powerful. If we check the stats here, we go from 129 damage, which is multiplied by a pretty substantial amount for Legacy mode. It's like 2.3 times, like it's your max hit or something like that. Like, at least double that for a reasonable amount of damage you can do. And 1,444 accuracy, since the magic short bow is level 50. So, with this one update here, range goes from being our weakest stat, with only a level 50 bow in existence, skipping straight over anything that's at level 60, and getting to level 70, which has way, way more accuracy. 2,088, and then a little bit more damage, 166. Spear says 3 seconds, 3 seconds. I think we'd have even more damage difference than that. That's interesting. But still, 166. and just the accuracy itself is pretty solid. So I will take it. I will take it. Wild stuff. Would be very good for doing combat. Just the accuracy itself is pretty good. No complaints here. But there are a few other things we need to consider. Islwin told us about the crystal equipment being better if it's fresh. No longer the case as of the same update that changed the amount of shots you have. Or I guess that was Evolution of Combat. So that was in 2012. The 2014 update also changed the kind of seed that it degrades into. So now you can't switch between the shield and bow with the same seed. The losses of stats on degradation was removed with the Evolution of Combat in 2012. It's also not alchemizable because there was a bit of an exploit that allowed you to get the seeds, turn them back into bows, and alch them for a profit if you're on free-to-play worlds. So that's no longer a thing. But also, charging them back up is also not a thing just yet. That is not, again, for a few weeks. If we run out of this bow and we want another one, we need to wait until that happens, and we can fix it for an interesting price system. Or just get another one from Islwin for 1,000,000 coins. Which is definitely expensive. Definitely expensive. And with the old 10 times less shots, it was most of the time prohibitively expensive compared to other things that exist. It is very strong, though. It is very strong. But yeah, once we get to a point where we need to discard combat items, it's not ideal. Looks like we can drop it now, so that would save us from short trips to Entrana currently. Don't know if that would have worked originally. The crystal bow was more of a non-droppable thing. More of a destroy, maybe. Either way. Yeah, looks like a drop would be fine. So, that's okay. Yeah, now we have a crystal bow. That's exciting. We're going to do a pretty good job with this. Go train some more ranged Slayer. And defeat anything that the quests we're going to be able to throw at us here. At least for a little bit. We've got plans. Next time. Goodbye.